Hello everyone, this is Alan from AETOS Capital Group. Jobless lists will faster than expected, in part because people have been dropping out of the labor force, while other labor market indicators show weakness. For example, the most important one is little change in employment to population rate. Therefore, FOMC participants continue to debate the reliability of the unemployment rate as an indicator of overall labor market conditions. Taking into account the further decline in labor force participation in recent quarters, still elevated levels of underemployment, long-term unemployment, and an apparent absence of the wage pressures. While some participants indicated much of the downward trend in the labor force participation rate since the start of the recession was seen as the result of shifts in demographic composition in the workforce and the retirement of the older workers. Some of others judging the decline in participation for younger and prime-age workers likely reflecting a slow recovery in jobs and wages. On balance, policymakers agree that it would be soon appropriate to revise their guidance about how long the era of record low interest rate will remain. Considering the previous payroll figures may have been an anomaly, perhaps importantly reflecting bad weather, February payrolls may be the next victim of the severe weather that has grabbed the economy during the last 3 months, following disappointing data on retail sales and manufacturing in January. Last week's snow and ice storm in the eastern U.S. came during the period the Bureau of Labor Statistics refers to in its monthly employment survey, which it used to calculate changes in payrolls, earnings, and hours for jobs report that is scheduled for the release during the 7th of March. Now let's turn to James in the U.S. for further information.
U.S. stocks, they were on the upside Thursday afternoon with the S&P 500 rising above its record close after Fed Reserve Chair Janet Yellen said the central bank would probably continue tapering its asset purchases. But first, on the economic front, data was far from impressive as the number of people applying for unemployment benefits rose last week to match its highest level of 2014. This after initial jobless claims were up 14,000 to a seasonally adjusted 348,000. Also adding to concerns, orders for U.S. durable goods down 1% as demand tapered off for most big-ticket items. However, the less than impressive reports appeared to be brushed off very soon when Fed Chair Janet Yellen said the central bank would probably continue tapering its asset purchases while tracking data to find out just how much of the recent softness in the economy is due to the bad weather. Also keep in mind, she was appearing before the Senate in testimony that was delayed by a snowstorm. After wavering between gains and declines, equities were higher with the Dow Jones Industrial Average last up about 0.3%. The S&P 500 adding 0.3% as well, with technology faring the best, and the Nasdaq advancing 0.4%. On the corporate front, JCPenney jumping nearly 25% after projecting a rise in yearly revenue and bigger margins, and Best Buy rising 4.1% after the electronics retailer reported a larger than expected profit. And as we speak, the UK markets have officially closed, and the UK's FTSE 100 index rose for the first time in 3 days as big-name companies advanced on corporate-related news. Rio Tinto rising 1.5% after Standard & Poor's Rating Services revised the outlook on the miner to stable. And HSBC Holdings advanced 1.4% after the bank confirmed in discussions with Mizan Bank to sell its operations in Pakistan. The FTSE 100 gained 0.2% to close at 6,810.27, recovering partly from a 0.5% loss the previous session. And now, let's go to Danny in Asia for more market news.
好的 ，James， 自隔夜欧美股市强力接棒后，亚洲投资者的情绪高涨和日元下跌，带动日经225指数重回15000点上方，指数有望测试15700点。如果实现的话，美元对日元或将上破今年高点以来的50%回档，并随之展开更加长期的上行，目标指向近6年半的高点110水平。但日经反弹也有可能因为若干的一些障碍出现停滞，最直接的障碍可能是全球投资者的情绪转淡， 导致资金逃离股市风险资产，并涌入避险资产。由于日元升值，使得日本出口产品的吸引力下降，而且普遍认为这种状况会阻碍经济增长，因此日经指数的上行也将同步受创。在投资者情绪方面，亚洲内部的风险需求较为平淡，日本经济严重依赖亚洲地区贸易，因此这很可能导致日本股市的资金流出和重新配置。此外，日本本周将出炉一系列的重点经济数据，市场对通胀、工业生产和零售销售的乐观预期较高。如果数据令人失望，将会对投资者产生负面的影响。预计全国 CPI 年率上升 1.3%， 剔除食品和能源价格后 ，CPI 年率上行 0.7%。1月工业生产和零售销售分别增长 2.8% 和 1.3%。但是，即便数据疲软，随着日本央行会做更大规模货币的宽松，这个猜想也将升温，因此日元将持续贬值。那谢谢收看 AETOS WebTV， 下期再见。